Hi, I'm Gabe.
I'm Selah.
I'm Jonathan.
And this is Driveway Video Discussions, a show where we talk about movies we watched without having to leave the house. This week we're watching The Ugly. Criminal psychologist Karen Shoemaker is assigned to reevaluate Simon Cartwright, a disturbed young serial killer. A lifetime of torment plus visitations by otherworldly beings have made Simon's alter ego, a beastly homicidal maniac known as the Ugly, emerge.
Yeah, this is my first time seeing this movie. I'd never heard of this movie before a couple days ago.
This is also my first time seeing the movie.
This is the first time I've seen this movie, but I heard about it back when it came out in '97. I remember reading a little blurb about it in one of those. This is in video store days, so you probably remember. They used to have these little magazines of all the new stuff coming out every month.
Oh yeah.
That's where I first heard about it, and I read, and the blurb kind of sounded interesting, but didn't really give away much about the story, you know. Kind of like the blurb on the Netflix queue when you read about it. So yeah, my knowledge of this movie goes way back, but this is the first time I've seen it.
There's not a whole lot that I really liked about this movie. I almost want to use my answer to this question to just talk more about how much I dislike this movie. But there are some things. I really liked the way they told the story, how they cut from the present time, the interview, to his past. They cut really cleanly. Like, sometimes you don't know what's going on when they do it, but then it all kind of comes together in the scenes, you know. All the scenes kind of just bring the past and the present together in a really cool way. And I really like the tone of the movie just throughout. It's kind of got just this eerie, creepy tone to it throughout the whole thing, and I think that gives kind of an extra little kick to any horror movie. There was one scene in particular that actually genuinely was very creepy to me. When they're all standing there for the school picture, and they take the picture and all the kids start walking away, and he looks down at his little girlfriend, you know, the love interest for him when he's a kid, and she just has this giant grin on her face, and then it just flashes the, you know, his victims, just the black blood and everything alongside the grin. And that part I thought was genuinely creepy and actually really startling. I really liked that.
One thing I liked about it, one of the scenes in the end during the last interview, the woman was wearing this really bright red dress, and it kind of fit with how the room was. It was like a white room with like the red paint on the walls, and the way her dress contrasted. I thought that was pretty cool. And then when they were showing all of his victims at the very end, and they were like behind him and everything, and there's like the black blood running down their faces, that was pretty creepy. So pretty cool part about the movie.
I totally agree with you on the tone. That was one of the things I thought they really did right. It was very creepy. The director seemed to really know what he wanted to put on camera. You know, he really knew what he wanted to see, and I like that because it was sort of experimental, and that takes a degree of confidence as a director in order to do something like that well. And I like the fact that it was very unconventionally told. It was anything but your conventional horror movie. It really took some risks and tried to do something different, and I always appreciate that.
Alright, well, the first thing that really comes to mind that I didn't like about this movie is the two guys who played the orderlies.
Oh yeah.
Were just awful, 100% awful.
I started referring to them in my mind as intensity and public enemy.
It was horrible. Every time they were in a scene, I was just like, oh my god, not these two again. And I really didn't like where the story went. I felt like it was such a weird transition from like the first half of the movie to the second half. I felt like it was really just kind of random and off the wall. Like it didn't fit with me. It just felt really uncomfortable and weird. And I mean, along with the orderlies, a lot of the acting in this movie just really was subpar. I hated the acting in this movie 100%.
I didn't really like this movie at all. Like, I kind of just stopped caring halfway through. I fell asleep. It didn't really matter to me that I was missing the end. I glanced up like a few times and kind of saw what was happening, but it didn't matter. It was like, whatever.
My biggest complaint is that the character motivations made no sense to me. You know, not just the acting, which I can actually forgive in a, you know, in a B movie. But what the hell were those orderlies even doing? What was their motivation, and what was the doctor's motivation in letting them be there? And this kind of leads into another thing that I felt was wrong with it, was that it's sort of the same problem I had with Mulholland Drive, which is a far superior film, don't get me wrong, is that I just couldn't decipher what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
It was just extremely confusing, and I feel like there is more there to this story, and I'm just not getting it. Another thing that really stood out was that the writing was so inferior to the directing. Because the directing I felt was pretty solid, not the acting, mind you, but the direct, like I said, the director really has a vision. And the writing was just bad. It was just bad.
I mean, with any horror movie, you're going to have certain expectations. If a movie is claiming to be horror, it's going to put certain expectations into your mind. You know, there's no escaping that. And not even as a horror movie, just as a movie, it didn't meet any of my expectations. And I had never heard of this movie before. Like, I had never heard anything to form expectations, and it still didn't meet my lack of expectations. Like, just a bad movie, in my opinion.
It didn't really compare to my expectations. I thought it might be creepier. I thought it might be more interesting. It wasn't at all. It just didn't go anywhere.
Well, after 15 years, you definitely build up some expectations for a movie. And like I said, I first encountered this movie back in '97. So this movie actually exceeded my expectations because of the fact that I knew it released straight to video, and at least in the U.S. My immediate expectation was that it was just going to be unwatchably bad. And I know you guys feel it was. I didn't feel it was nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. In fact, I was very pleasantly surprised in a lot of ways, particularly by the competency of the director.
You know, I'm gonna give this movie a 4. I can definitely see that it would have appeal to a lot of people, and I'm not going to say, you know, it's an absolute piece of garbage, but it's on the low side of bad, I think. You know what? I'm changing it to a 3. I'm giving this movie a 3.
Oh, no.
It's watchable if you're into the very surreal and the very bizarre, but I just didn't care for it.
I'm going to give it a 4. I really didn't care for the movie, but the cinematography was really good. He did a good job directing it, but it was just stupid.
I'm going to give the movie a 6. I thought it was okay. There were some things I really disliked about it, but there were some things I really liked a lot about it and was very pleasantly surprised by. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but I think there are definitely some people out there who are going to adore this movie.
Oh yeah.
And I can count myself in the group that says, yeah, it was all right. Alright, so thanks for watching. Please click on the annotations bar down below to go to our channel where you can like, subscribe, check out other videos, and please feel free to post any comments or suggestions for movies for us to do in the future. If you have a question, post it in the comments and we'll try to answer it right here on the show. We have links down in the description for our Facebook, Twitter, and blog, so check those out. And be sure and check back with us on the 8th when we review The Creature from the Black Lagoon. And all this month we're doing horror films. Every single day on the blog we're going to be posting a review of a horror film. So if you have any suggestions, let us know. And be sure and check back for more driveway video discussions.